Okay, so we're getting close to go time here, and I'm actually going to put on an opening montage, and then we'll get started.
Sounds good.
Throwdown Nation, welcome aboard for episode 10 of the Throwdown with Matt. And tonight is a guest that I've been looking forward to all week, and that is from out of New York, Smiley the Psycho Superman. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Doing very well. Thank you for having me tonight.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, I've been looking forward to it. I've dug around on your social media, and you, sir, are an entertainer. I mean, I've definitely enjoyed seeing what you do. And for anybody watching that is not familiar with you, I'm going to share my screen and just show a couple of quick clips just to give people a taste.
And his opponents. That's it. We'll take a nap.
Like I said, I saw that and I was just on the floor. I can tell you really enjoy what you do and you like to have fun, and I can tell you like kids.
Yeah, I mean, they make everything so much more fun. They're so invested in everything you do. That particular show from BCW up in Massachusetts. Tomorrow I have a show in Pennsylvania for Three Legacies Wrestling, where my entrance usually consists of me running around the ring with a train of small children, following behind me. Just because
Nice.
get them involved a little bit. I came out one time, and this little boy wanted a high five, and I grabbed him out of his chair and I went, "Come with me!" And we ran around the ring, gave him high fives, and next thing I know is, the next show, a few more kids are coming in. A few more kids are coming in. Now it's like as soon as my music hits, it's just a sea of children tailing behind me. I look like Peter Pan or something like that.
Dude, that is awesome. So we'll start with the first and most obvious question, Smiley, and that is, how long have you been wrestling?
It is going on, I think I'm on 11 years right now.
Okay.
I think it's 11 years going on 12. So I'm right in the middle of the two.
So you're not an old guy, but you're far from a rookie.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen some sights.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. So who actually trained you?
I was initially trained out of House of Glory, which is run by Amazing Red and Brian XL out of Queens, New York. And then, of course, there's been seminars over the years. My very first time, technically, in a wrestling ring was a Tony Atlas seminar.
Really?
And it was like the day after Christmas, probably 2005, 6, somewhere in that ballpark. And yeah, it's just randomly I saw it online. And it's like, oh, Tony Atlas seminar, December 26th. I'm like, why not? Drove 4 hours up north and did a Tony Atlas seminar, which he didn't even know he was doing. Like, we showed up and he's like, what do you guys need? We're like, well, we're here for the seminar. He goes, I'm doing a seminar?
So you got your own private seminar?
Kind of, yeah. There was only 3 of us. It was me, my brother, and this one gentleman who was like jacked to the gills and looked like he was like a murderer. Like, this guy's going to be incredible. And he struggled, man. Like, I was very fortunate that I was able to catch on to a lot of it quick. I mean, he didn't teach us much. Like I said, he didn't know he was doing it. So, like, he taught us how to take back bumps. He taught us how to give a chop in the corner and how to go through the middle rope. And then by the end of the hour and a half, 2 hours or whatever we had with him, he looks at us, he goes, y'all got anything besides jeans? I went, no, we didn't even know. We figured you were just going to talk to us about like wrestling. We didn't know we were getting in the ring. He's like, oh, well, go down the street to the Sports Authority, get yourself some sweatpants. You guys in the Battle Royal tonight. It's like, oh, okay. Why not?
Well, that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, to come in off the street and next thing you know, you're in a battle royal.
Yeah.
Wow. So at what point in your life was there a particular moment, or was it just sort of I guess sort of a growing feeling or whatever? At what point in your life did you know that you wanted to try to make a go of this?
So I've always wanted to do something physical. I am definitely not a cubicle kind of guy. Like, you stick me in a cubicle behind a computer, I'm going to lose my mind. Right. So, like, for me, it was always like when I was younger, I was like, I want to be a stuntman. Like, that would be the greatest thing in the world, to be a stuntman. And one year for Christmas, my mom bought me a one-way plane ticket to California. She went, you know what? Go. It was like 2007, maybe. She's like, you know what? Here's a plane ticket. Go to California. Try it. You fail, come home. So I went out to California. I tried it. Didn't work well. California is a hard place to live. By the end of it, I was sleeping in ditches and sneaking in people's houses while their dads weren't paying attention, so I could just sleep in a comfy bed for at least a night, jumping out of balconies and trying to get out of there before the dad sees us. So, it was tricky. And so I came home. And I got another job, and I was working. And one time I was managing a photo studio. I was a manager for Sears Photo Studio. And my cousin calls me up and goes, hey, me and your brother, we're going to move to New York. We're going to go we're going to go live out there. Do you want to join us? I was on my lunch break, and I went, sure. And I walked inside, called my district manager, and went, hey, I'm giving my 2 weeks notice. I'm going to go move to New York. And he's like, when did you decide that? And I went, about 45 minutes ago. So, like, I just did.
Awesome.
And, like, I was in the bus station, and, like, I've always wanted to be a wrestler. Of course, I've dabbled in the backyard wrestling stuff, which we're not supposed to admit, but, I did. I played around. Actually, ironically enough, if I may tell a quick one, recently went home, because I'm originally from Portland, Maine. I originally went home to see my family for my grandfather's funeral. And I was sitting there, and I looked at my mom, and I go, Mom, you ever think when I was doing front flips off the shed onto the trampoline, doing wrestling moves and everything, I'd make a living out of it one day? She looked at me, and she goes, nah, I figured you'd be dead by now. And my best friend's dad sitting right behind me, he goes, yeah, I remember about junior year thinking, he's got about 6 months to live. So that was always fun. But I remember being in the bus station ready to come down to New York, and it just like popped in my head. I'm like, why don't I try something? Like, why don't I try wrestling? I don't know what to do, how to do it. So I'm on Google, like looking up schools. Of course, I find Johnny Rods, who, of course, he's an old legend, like he's Hall of Famer, everything else. And then there's Amazing Red School, House of Glory. Of course, I've seen House of Glory. I've seen Amazing Red for years on YouTube and TNA and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
So one of my all-time favorite wrestlers has always been Tommy Dreamer. So I found Tommy Dreamer's website. It's got a little, ask Dreamer questions kind of thing. So I sent him a message. I went, I'm moving to New York. I'm thinking about becoming a pro wrestler, but I'm looking at these two schools. Would you have any suggestions or any advice on where I should go? And he replied back like maybe an hour later. It was crazy. He's like, well, Johnny's not really going to get in the ring with you anymore. He goes, he'll probably have his other students show you what he showed them. He goes, Red, he's still young. He's still in the business and everything. So he's probably going to get more physical with you. He goes, outside of that, he goes, you're going to get a great education either way. So it just depends on really price and what you feel comfortable with. So I'm like, all right, well, Johnny wants like $5,000 a year and House Glory only wants like $150 a month. So I can afford $150 a month. I ain't got $5,000 to my name right now.
There you go. Yep. Question answered. But what you were just saying about your mom, that is a cool mom.
Oh yeah. My mom's always been my biggest supporter. She doesn't like wrestling. I go home to Maine to wrestle or something like that. I have to like drag her to come watch me to wrestle because she doesn't like it. She doesn't understand it. Sometimes she's not a big fan. She recently hit me up the other night. I was leaving a show and I got a text message from my mom because she just learned how to use Instagram. So I get this message from my mom. She goes, so I just spent a good chunk of change flipping through your videos on Instagram. She goes, and I have to say, with all due love and respect, and I mean this positively, you're fucking nuts. And I'm like, oh, all right, Mom, I'm sorry. And then she yelled at me because there was one clip on there where an opponent was hammering the skewers into my head, and I got, chewed out for that one. But other than that, she loves them.
Well, she chewed you out coming from a place of love. She just doesn't want to see her little boy having skewers hammered into his head.
Yeah, that's not her favorite clip of mine, but
no, I'm sure. So, away from wrestling, Smiley, what are some of your other hobbies and interests?
Oh God, I mean, number one's always probably just playing with my son. That's always just. I get home and it's like, as soon as I get home, he wants to play, we playing. Photography's always been a big part of my life. Love photography. Originally, actually, before Smiley was a thing, I was originally going to be a photographer gimmick or a pro wrestler and call myself paparazzo, which I guess was like, I remember researching that was like where the term paparazzi came from, was this photographer back in the day called paparazzo. So I was going to do like a whole photography bad guy gimmick and everything. And I like this gimmick a little bit better, but it still would have been a lot of fun. Oh,
yeah. Yeah. And who knows, maybe someday you'll decide to bust out paparazzo.
You never know.
So is wrestling a full-time thing for you, or do you have a day job currently?
Unfortunately, it's not quite paying the bills yet. I still need a little side hustle here or there. So I'm pretty good with the computer. I like to make graphics for people, or like sometimes I'll make like a design. I recently made one for my friends who just won some tag team titles, the Leather Jacket Mafia, and just made a little logo for them and stuff like that. And I love crafting things. I love being crafty. I'm working on learning how to make wrestling gear so I can stop spending so much money on paying other people to do it for me. Because these bad boys ain't cheap. Let me tell you.
No, I'm sure. I'm sure. But what you were saying about your son, man, I couldn't agree more. Being a dad is the best thing in the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah, today is actually my son's 15th birthday. So,
oh, happy birthday to him.
Yeah, I'll pass that along to him. So, but so you said you're originally from Maine.
Yes.
So what was your favorite thing about Maine?
It's probably gotta be my friends. My friends back there. I definitely think they molded me to the person I am today. Ask my mom, that might not be the best thing, because I got me a little track record of getting a little too nutty sometimes. I was, ironically enough, suspended my senior year of high school before I even started my senior year of high school, because me and my friends thought it would be funny to come to freshman orientation with super soakers and water balloons. And apparently you can't get away with that. But, my friends would definitely, they were always there for me. They always had my back. We have a lot of memories, some of which I don't think the limit of can't remember how the term goes.
Statute of limitations.
That one, I'm pretty sure that ain't up yet, so I can't talk about. But yeah, I mean, Maine's just such a beautiful place too. Like, it's fun to go back to relax and enjoy the food. I love the food up there. I'm trying to lose some weight, but I'm going home to vacation. I'm going home to Maine for like a week, and like next week or something like that. And yeah, I'm gonna put on every pound that I lost. So.
Well, but it'll be worth it.
Oh, yeah. Maine will always be for friends and family.
Yeah.
It will be fun. My son's recently learned the joys of amusement parks. We took him to one in New Jersey at the American Dream Mall. He loved it. So now when we go home to Maine here next week or week after, whichever it is, I'm gonna take him to my childhood theme park. The one I grew up at and everything like that. So.
Oh, that's cool.
We'll see how he enjoys some of the rides over there and everything like that.
That is awesome. So, they say the best wrestling personas are pretty much yourself turned up to 11. So tell me about Smiley the Psycho Superman and compare and contrast him with everyday you.
Well, the Smiley is pretty much, like you said, it's pretty much me turned up to 11. Jumping off things, doing backflips to the concrete and stuff like that. That's nothing out of the ordinary for me. We had videos on YouTube at one point, but I don't know whatever happened to them. But we would record ourselves climbing up the goalpost in the football field and doing backflips into the snowbanks and stuff like that, and just always testing my limits, because I am I'm a chunky boy. I'm a heavy set dude, so a lot of times I should not be able to move like I can, and I love testing the limits, and I do that in my everyday life too. I love to see push past that barrier of this is how far I should go, but can I get more out of it? Sometimes with my my beloved girlfriend's temper, and that one doesn't work too well, but sometimes you push the limits.
Gotcha.
That one tends to get me yelled at. But
well, I looking through some of your videos, it's really impressive, because you are a bigger guy, but you move like a cruiserweight. So I mean, it's and I mean all of that in absolutely the best sense. I mean, because bigger guys that can move like that are something special. And you've definitely got a gift.
Thank you.
So do you I'm guessing from your persona that you've probably mostly worked babyface, but do you have a preference between working heel or working babyface?
That's the fun part of having multiple personalities or multiple characters in one body, because each one of the masks, they represent a different side of my personality and stuff like that. So some of them can be a little bit more fun-loving and enjoyable, and then some of them can be a little bit more of a jerk and a little bit more mean to people. As far as choosing one or the other, it doesn't matter to me. I was scared of the more evil side for the longest time, just because, like you said, I'm a very crowd-friendly kind of guy. Like I like making sure the kids are having fun and they're smiling and they're laughing and they're enjoying themselves. I would hate to like do something that would upset them. Gotcha. That being said, actually, really right around like COVID per se, like I tried dabbling in the eviler sides before then, but it just never felt right. There was a turn I had over at Pro Wrestling Magic in New Jersey, and it ran for a good couple of years. I was the meanest guy in the locker room. I was the biggest bully that you would ever meet. I at one point stole the general manager job from Shane Fair just because he had it and I wanted it. But yeah, I still enjoyed being a jerk a little bit. But I don't know if I necessarily have a preference anymore. Like I said, in the beginning, I would have said babyface all the way. But nowadays, it's like I like both sides of the coin.
Gotcha. You know, coming from the perspective of a fan, I tend to find myself gravitating more toward the heels because I tend to find the heels to be more compelling characters. I mean, so
they definitely can be.
Yeah. So, if you can remember back this far, tell us about your very first match.
I think you froze on me.
Can you see me? Are you hearing me? Looks like we lost him. You hearing? Yep, you hearing me, Smiley? I'm hearing you.
Hello?
Hello, are you hearing me? You hearing me? Guess not. Smiley? Hello? Well, looks like we've lost him. Hopefully he will rejoin. Aha. Smiley? Hello? Huh. Okay. He's trying to get back in. So in the meantime, I can go ahead and tell you that at 8:45 tonight, I'm going to have a highly regarded and well-traveled tag team, Ghetto Gear Solid, as my guests on the late show, so to speak. And then next week, Monday, August the 5th at 7 p.m., I've got Paul Lasher, who, hang on, I believe, and we're back. Hey.
So sorry about that.
Oh, no problem. It wouldn't be a live stream if there wasn't a technical hiccup.
Fair.
I mean, so I'm used to stuff going sideways, so it's really not that big a deal. So anyway, we were at the point where I was asking, I know that your first sort of match was that Battle Royal, but what was your first actual match? How did that go? And what was it like? Tell us.
So it was a very interesting one. One of my favorite things from the very first match that I had was actually it was in Chicopee, Massachusetts. It was for NEFW, ran by Eric Newman. God rest his soul. Amazing man. Always gave me a lot of good work. And the first match he put me in, it was a 2-on-1 handicap match against Mark Sherman. But it's kind of like the little nuances that kind of went with the match that, for me, it just makes it so much more fun. My family had actually came down from Maine to see me wrestle. So it was like my brother, his fiance, my other brother, my stepdad, they all drove down from Maine to see me wrestle because it's my first match ever. Like, it's going to be super exciting. Little did they know it was a 2-on-1 squash match that lasted maybe 5 minutes. But like, we're in the back and we're getting ready for the match and everything like that, and try and get warmed up. And all of a sudden, the door flies open, and there's standing Ricky Morton. He looks at me, he looks around, and he goes, "I'm Ricky Morton. This is my mother effing chair." And then walks away. And I went, "That just happened? Like, what's going on?"
Ricky Morton and his chair.
Oh my God. And I did a show with him, oh God, at this point, probably like 5 years ago now. But it was like probably like at least 7-8 years since that one match. And like 7-8 years later, I'm doing a show. He walks in, he looks at the locker room, he points to a chair with a backpack on, goes, "I'm Ricky Morton. That's my mother effing chair." I went, "He did it again. This must be a thing." Like, I don't know if I should. I thought I felt special for that first one, but then like he did it again, and I'm just like, oh, this is just his thing.
Yeah, he does it to everybody.
Oh, it was great. But like, still, like, one of the memories, like, I still laugh about to this day. And then another one is we're getting ready to go through the curtain. I'm standing next to the guy that I'm supposed to be teaming with, and somebody comes up and goes, you guys know this is like a triple threat match, right?" I'm like, "What?" They're like, "Yeah, like, it's triple threat, not a 2-on-1. So now we're like, oh God, like, that changes everything now. Like, now it changes everything we had, in mind. And then, like, as we get out the curtain, they're like, "And a 2-on-1 special handicap match." And I went, "What is going on? Like, what is this match supposed to be?" And like, it was just so confusing, but like, I was so excited. I remember running around the ring, and this one still to this day haunts me. But like I said, I was so excited. My family's in the crowd. My first ever wrestling match that's not like a battle royal, because battle royals are a dime a dozen. You do them all the time. But like, I'm in a match, like, right? And like, I'm wrestling this guy who's like supposed to be one of the stars of this company. So I come running around and I'm trying to high five people. Nobody knows who I am. Like, they could care less. Nobody knows who I am. Running by, nobody's putting out their hands. I think I'm the man. High five, maybe my brother. I get in the ring and I do the one where I slide in on my belly and I jump up to my feet, like kind of front flip up to my feet from my belly, thinking I'm like a badass. I take my shirt off and I hear, "Let's go, middies." And the crowd instantly got on me for being fat and just hounded me. And I'm looking around going, I'm the good guy here. Like, why are y'all picking on me? My brother's in the crowd ready to fight somebody. It's like, yo, say no thing about my brother. Like, he's ready to fight somebody behind him. It haunts me to this day. So maybe that gives me that little chip on my shoulder where I got to be extra agile and extra fancy, just so people can ignore the fact that I'm a fat guy.
So now that we've heard about your first match, tell us about your favorite match that you've been a part of.
God, that's a loaded one.
If you can narrow it down.
There's been a few. One of which was actually from Three Legacies Wrestling, which, like I said, is the company I got tomorrow. And Ricardo Rodriguez, who used to work for WWE, that's his company. And I think it was like the second month I was working his shows, I saw Delirious had come into his school and worked with some of his students. So I told him, I'm like, if you ever bring in Delirious, like, that's a dream match of mine. Delirious is my favorite wrestler of all time. Like, that would be a dream come true. It's like, oh yeah, maybe in the future we can make that happen for you. That'd be great. And all right, thank you and everything like that. And he's like, probably next month I'm thinking it's you and Tarzan Duran. It's like, all right, cool, like, should be good. I go home. At one point I'm driving around. I went and bought my family dinner. Parked the car in the parking lot, and all of a sudden my phone goes off. I don't know. And it says Smiley main event, Smiley versus, and then the rest of it never loaded. So I'm like, oh, me and Tarzan are going to be the main event. That's cool. And then as I get out of the car and I grab the phone and the rest of it loads, it says Delirious. And I went, oh! I like sprinted up to my apartment. I'm like, look at that. So like that one was super, super cool.
No doubt.
Definitely one of my favorites. I got to have my fun times, my little funny moments. It got real serious at moments. Delirious never beat me per se. I passed out. I never tapped out. So just saying. Also, fun fact, he hit me with this move he calls chemical imbalance, where he kind of flips you upside down, and as you're upside down, he grabs your legs and drives your head into the canvas. And it's been his finishing move for 20-something years. And only 5 people have ever kicked out of that move. I think it's 5. It was Matt Sydal, Davey Richards, Brian Danielson, and myself, and there's one other I cannot remember. But it's pretty good good company to be a part of.
I was gonna say you were in rarefied air there.
Yeah. Another one that really comes to mind, and it's a bittersweet moment. It was myself versus Tommy Dreamer and JT Dunn. Bittersweet for the fact that it was 1 week after one of my friends, Matt Travis, had passed away in a biking accident. So of course it's bittersweet because, like, I'm paying tribute to my friend who just died,
right,
by getting struck by a dump truck while he's riding his bike. And like at the same time I'm in the ring with Tommy Dreamer, who's like one of my all-time favorites, and and again, like I was saying earlier, who actually helped me get into the business. He was the one who suggested I end up at House of Glory. And then JT Dunn, who I've known since that very first match I just talked about, he was there that night. If memory serves correct, I think he wrestled Chuck Taylor. I have a weird memory for that stuff. But like, so I've known JT for years. Tommy Dreamer is one of my all-time favorites. We're doing this for Maddie. At the very end of the match, there's footage I just put up recently where I'm like sitting on the ramp and I am full on in tears, just melting down because, like, this was for him. And as I'm sitting there, like, kind of sobbing, all of a sudden I feel somebody like grabbing my foot, and I hear, "Are you okay, baby? Baby, are you okay?" And I turn around and I look, and Victoria's sitting there checking up on me, and I'm like, when did Victoria get here? Like, I didn't even know she was in the building. Like,
wow,
just materialized. And then there's 2 other ones that really come to mind. One of which is my match for New Japan Pro Wrestling, where it was like a Halloween special show. So they didn't announce any matches, and they only announced like very little amount of people that were going to be there. And the match was me, Montekia, who's another wrestler from House of Glory, Mascarada Dorado, and Speedball Mike Bailey. And
wow.
Man, that match is easily one of my all-time favorites. I received incredible praise from it. from like Brian Alvarez and his group. Like they talked about it on their podcast, and like they were just up in arms about like how well I did. Like, you know, Brian Alvarez like hit. He's sitting there. He's like, you know, where has Smiley been like my whole life? Like this guy was incredible, and it's like, shit, yeah, I did my thing that night. I remember getting to the back after the match, and my trainer, who I love Red to death, can be a little hard-headed on giving compliments because he doesn't want anybody, you know, to get big head or anything like that. And like get to the back, and I turn around, and I look at him, and he just goes, "All right, it's all the acknowledgement I needed." Like
exactly, I was gonna say that's the you know, when you get the nod,
yeah,
you know you're in. You've pleased the master.
Yes. And then the fourth one that comes to my mind right away when I think of favorite matches, it was AEW Dark, the one I did in Boston, Massachusetts, which again, Boston, right where I started my whole journey and everything like that. It was a 3-on-3 match, but I was standing across the ring from Private Party, Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy, for two of my best friends. Known those guys since I started. We used to show up to training like 3 hours before training actually started, and just got in the ring and we wrestled around and we did our thing, putting on like little matches that we thought were the greatest matches of all time, and watching them back, we're like, that's trash. But you know, like we were just doing our thing, and being in the ring with them for AEW, like after they've been signed and everything like that, and then of course they're teaming with Matt Hardy, who's somebody I grew up watching.
Right.
You know, it's this is intense. And then like right as we're about to go through the curtain, I remember looking over at Mark Quinn, and I go, "Quinn, you know what today is, right?" He goes, "No, what's today?" I go, "Today makes 3 years to the day since Maddie passed away." So it was like the day we're like, it's 3-year anniversary of our friend passing away. We all end up together in an AEW ring, which is like, to me, like one of my favorite companies of all time. Like I love the product over there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's no crap on it. I like it. I enjoy it. I love it.
I do too.
So it's like, it was just like one of them like nostalgic kind of moments. And like me and Quinn started the whole thing. Like as soon as the bell rang, it's like me and him standing there staring across at each other. Of course, I got my yellow mask on, so nobody can really see me. But I got the, you know, big cheesy grin on and everything like that. Like, this is where I want to be, man. This is where I want to be right now. Just standing across the ring from one of my best friends. You know, this is where I want to be.
Absolutely. And you know, you've got to think that, you know, God or some higher power put all that together on that day, you know, to pay tribute to your friend. And, you know, I mean, to have all of the factors come together on that day is just magic.
Absolutely.
So who would you say, in terms of your in-ring work and your promos, who would you say are some of your influences?
Oh, I definitely have to say Delirious had a big piece of the puzzle when it came to me figuring out who I am. And I say that with the intent that, like, from the beginning, like, I knew I didn't want to be like everyone else. Like, I knew I didn't want to be Delirious Light. You know, I didn't want to be, you know, El Generico Jr. Like, I didn't want you to be able to compare me to anyone at all, because I wanted to be the very first Smiley, with the exception of Norman Smiley. Funny story about that if you got time. But yeah, so like, I want to be the first me, and but there were people that like definitely like had the influence. You know, of course, Tommy Dreamer, like the just when it came to like pouring your heart and soul into this. You know, like I think back to the kendo stick match with him and Sandman, and like he could have gave up at any point, you know, but he didn't. Somebody I refer to as my wrestling grandpapa, Mikey Whipwreck, who of course he trained Amazing Red, who trained me, so wrestling grandpa. Yeah. He had a big part of it because, like, you know, his same thing. Like, he was the guy that never quit. He was the guy that never gave up. Like, that's who I want to be. I want to be the guy that takes a butt kicking and never gives up. Like you have to kill me if you want to beat me. You know, I want to be that guy. And then of course when it came to style in the ring, you got like your Deliriouses. El Generico was another big one. Big El Generico fan. Promo wise, it's hard to say because I haven't really been doing promos long. Before probably 2023, 22, somewhere in that ballpark. I could only speak gibberish. Because, like I said, you got multiple personalities.
Right.
You got a bunch of different voices in your head trying to talk at the same time. When those 20-something voices are all talking at the same time, what comes out your mouth is just that kind of stuff. Yeah. So, you know, it takes a little bit of training to hone to one voice. So, promos, I'm confident with, but I'm still looking for the right voice, I guess I could say.
Gotcha. So, do you have an all-time favorite match as a fan? You know, a match that you can go back to time and time again, and it really never gets old, and you always glean something new from it, even after you've watched it a million times.
Oh boy, this one's gonna be mad obscure.
No, go for it.
I freaking love. It's Jack Evans, Samoa Joe, Ebitaro, and Delirious. And it is, I don't know what it is about that match. It's just so off the walls. It's so ridiculous, but I could watch that match a million times and I'm still entertained by it. The first one, the first match I really remember watching as a wrestling, as the one that got me into wrestling is another one. Like I could watch it over and over again, but it's more for nostalgia value than it is probably technical excellence, because it was Demolition, all three members of Demolition versus the Ultimate Warrior and the Road Warriors.
Oh wow!
So we're not talking technical masterminds, but we're talking about like the characters, the looks, the style. It's like I remember being like a 5-year-old, I think I was, running around my grandmother's house or my great grandmother. And I turn the corner and I look up, my uncles are watching wrestling, that's on the screen. And I just plopped right down on the floor in the living room and I just sat there for the rest of the day watching it. And then I remember they were they were showing clips after that match, and like I remember they showed one clip of like Andre the Giant. I'm like, who is this man? Like he's it's just fascinating. So like that one I could watch over and over again for nostalgia value. Yeah. Trying to think of what other good one. There's another one. Again, it's mad obscure, but it's from, I believe it's from Chikara, and it's the Olsen twins versus Up in Smoke, which is Cheech and Cloudy. And man, it was just such an unbelievable, like, innovative match. Like I feel like I watched that match 20 times and I learned 20 things new about it. Like, oh, why didn't I think of doing something like that? Like, this is amazing. And then if you're going for something more recent, oh no, I can't think of his name now. Now I'm drawing a blank. But it's Dean Allmark, who's over the past few years have become a good friend of mine. We met through wrestling, through Instagram and stuff like that. But is it Noir? I can't. Oh God, I feel bad. I can't remember the other guy's name now. But he does like almost like a. He paints his face very white. He just has regular 3/4 black trunks. It's very like he looks like a theatrical kind of guy. But oh man, their matches are just so good. I feel terrible. I can't remember his name though. Noir? No.
But you know, something I will say is, you know, I feel like Delirious has really never gotten the credit that he deserves. I mean, his. I haven't watched a ton of Delirious, but what I've seen of him, I just really enjoyed.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I just feel like, he just never. It's almost like people didn't really understand what to do with him. I mean,
Yo, it's one of the things. He's such a unique individual. It's hard to like copy and paste him into other matches. Like
right.
and which is it's difficult to say even that, because it's like his style and the way he works. You can add him to any kind of match and it works. Like there's one out there and it's like Colt Cabana, Larry Sweeney, and Delirious. It's the funniest freaking match that you'll ever watch. But then you can watch his stuff when he was in like The Age of the Fallen with Jimmy Jacobs and those guys, and like he was just so like vicious and devious, and he could just tear a person apart, and like it's so good. And it's like he can play any role, but people think of him as just this character that's a little wonky, and they don't know where to put him. It's like put him anywhere, he'll make it work,
Exactly.
But and on top of that, like you got to think of all the people he's trained. He trained a lot of like the up and coming ROH guys. Cheeseburger being like the best example. Cheeseburger's on fire, like he's all over the place, and he was trained by Delirious.
Yep.
The man has such a mind too. It's incredible, like so smart.
Absolutely. So you've been around the game long enough that I'm sure this is kind of an appropriate question. But what hurts right now?
Surprisingly, not much.
Good.
Surprisingly, yes. I like to give that credit to me being fat, because Tommy Dreamer said it best. Muscles will bend and break, fat absorbs. So I can take all this punishment, and the big fat around my bones and muscles and stuff like that just absorbs it all, and I can live forever. So I'm scared to get skinny. But every once now and then my knee will kind of give me a little bit of bother, and I'll slap on some Tiger Balm or something like that. I severely sprained an ankle probably like 2-3 years ago now. I did a moonsault off the top rope to the outside, and when I landed on the guy, he kind of collapsed to the side, so I put all my weight on my ankle, rolled it, severely sprained it, so I could barely walk for like a week. That one every now and then will kind of flare up on me, but again, you throw some Tiger Balm on it, spray it down with a little BioFreeze, something like that. You go along your day. You don't. I got a 5-year-old that wants to play and wants me to chase him around, and I got jobs to do and bills to pay and mouths to feed. So I'm not allowed to sit around and complain about pain.
I got you. So overall, what are your thoughts on the current state of the industry?
I think it's kind of on fire. Like you have companies now like that are working together. You have like WWE is sending people to GCW to do Bloodsport. You got the TNA guys showing up on WWE NXT TV. AEW, even though people kind of like crap on it at times, like I feel like it's a good product. And like this past week alone, like the episode was incredible, and like the stories and everything like that. It's awesome. And then there's always like every weekend you can find wrestling. There's something going on there all the time. The fans are having fun. And I don't know. Like, does it have flaws? Sure. Could things be better? Of course. But at the end of the day, like, it's wrestling and it's here to stay. Like,
yeah.
And
it should be,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and it's, from a fan's perspective, from my perspective, it's an exciting time to be a fan, because like you were saying, with all of the cooperation that's going on right now, you really do have the sense that just about anything is possible. And
oh yeah,
and it's unfortunate in many ways, but you know what's going on, particularly with WWE right now, would never have been possible under Vince. I mean, you know, and to me, it is the height of irony that D-Generation X has ended up running the company. I mean, you know, Hunter and Sean. I mean, but they have really risen to the occasion and are just doing amazing work. I mean,
Oh yeah.
So but you know, you're still a comparatively young guy, but knowing everything that you know now, Smiley, if you could give any advice to your younger self, what would it be?
I think it'd be like I wish my younger self would had more confidence. And it's not that I'm not confident in what I do. I'm very confident as far as it goes in ring and stuff like that. But like I'm very open about having to deal with like imposter syndrome a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And like it can be very damning at times. And that and also start earlier because I didn't start wrestling until I was 27, I think it was. Yeah, about 27. So like I started late, you know, and people told me when I first started, like, you're too late. You're starting too late. You'll never make it. But shoot, even if I don't make it, like I've changed lives, I've made memories, and there's people to this day that will come to me and go, I saw you wrestle when I was like 6 years old. I went, how old are you now? They go, 18. It's like, damn. Like y'all kept a picture of me on your wall for 12 years because like I made you feel a certain way. Like I might not make it to WWE, and that's okay. But like at the same time, like I wish I could have told my younger self, like, you do belong doing this because like you're making a difference, you know? It's one of the things. It's like the imposter syndrome is devastating because it's like you constantly like have that thing in the back of your head, like you're not good enough, you're not skinny enough, you know, you don't belong here. Like you can't be a wrestler if you don't lose 40 pounds, this, that, and the other. And it's like trying to shut that little voice up sometimes. It's hard. So like I wish I could like tell my younger self about that. Like, you know, don't listen to it. Like you don't need it. Stuff like that.
Right. Well, you know, we can all be our own worst enemy.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Easy.
Yeah. And the mind games that you can play with yourself it can just be so destructive too, you know, if you let it. I mean,
oh yeah.
So, but so do you have a favorite move and on something that you just really enjoy doing? And on the flip side of that, is there a move or moves that you won't do?
I think I love taking to the air. I love hitting a 450 every now and then. I think my favorite move in pro wrestling might just be a powerbomb, though. It's just something about like just yoinking somebody up in the air like against their will, and once they get to the top, you hear the before you go and drive them into the ground. Like it's something like enjoyable about that. So I think a powerbomb might be like my favorite move. But that being said, like I love like one of my things too. Like I said, like I don't want to be compared to anybody else. So like I've always created new moves. I've always come up, or in a lot of cases, came up with new moves. Like because there's certain situations, like my finisher, the Dementia Driver. It's kind of like the lightning lock into a driver, and I thought, I must have created this. Like this is so unique. Like nobody else has ever done this. And then I see footage of Ruckus from like 10, 15 years ago hitting the same move. I went, I guess I didn't make that up, but cool. But yeah, I think the powerbomb's definitely like my favorite one to do. As far as anything I wouldn't do, I mean anything that would possibly paralyze somebody. Like I love, you know, dropping people on their head and stuff like that. But like at the end of the day, I want to make sure that they're still able to go home to their families.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, there's some moves that's just terrifying. The Gonzo bomb for one, like the Gonzo bomb scares the crap out of me.
Yeah.
And it's just like to release somebody and let them free fall on their own head like that. Or I saw one recently, and I think he even said it in the caption, like it embodies what pro wrestling was back in like the early 2000s. But it's Dan Barry. He picks up his opponent like he's gonna hit him with a pile driver.
Mm-hmm.
And he just steps back and literally like throws the guy to the ground, and the guy goes head first, body straight in the air, just doink, right on top of his dome. And I watched it and I cringed. And like,
yeah, so he pretty much got lawn darted.
Pretty much, yeah. From a pile driver position into a lawn dart on his head.
Yikes.
Cool.
Yikes.
But you know, that's how wrestling was back then. And like those guys, like they knew the risk they were taking. They agree. You signed on the dotted line every time you step in the wrestling ring that something could happen.
Right.
And it's the risk we all are willing to take.
Right. Yeah, you know, I've been a fan, you know, varying levels of fandom at different times in my life, but basically since I was about 11, and I'm going to be 55 next month. So I grew up in the territory days and, you know, went through the whole Monday Night Wars. I was actually in the Georgia Dome when Goldberg went over Hogan. And let me tell you, I have never heard anything that loud. I mean, that place just came unglued.
Oh, imagine.
So, but yeah, and you know, it's been fun being a fan for, you know, over 40 years and just seeing how the industry has changed. When I was a kid, it was the land of the giants. And now you've got a lot of smaller, very athletic, very talented guys that are making a career of it. And being a fairly small guy myself, I enjoy seeing the small guys do well. I mean, you know.
A lot more relatable than back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, something else that we've been doing in all of these that's just been kind of fun is we have let the current guest pose a question for the next guest. So my guest last night, actually, I had mentioned that I was having you on tonight, and he thinks that he has wrestled you at some point. His name is Tomer Shalom. And he said that your name sounds very familiar, and he thinks he's had a match with you at some point. But anyway, Tomer Shalom. Yeah, he's actually Israeli born, but based out of Toronto, Canada.
I've definitely done a few things in Canada.
But anyway, so the question that he posed is, it's a hypothetical situation. You have to subscribe to an OnlyFans. Whose would you subscribe to?
Go. I don't think my girl can hear me in the background there. Oh, shoot. God, you got me good on that one. That's a good one.
Yeah, he said he loves to rib the boys. So there you go.
That's good. Well, if I'm giving anybody money, gotta give it to a friend or something like that. Lindsay Snow. Love Lindsay to death. One of the greatest human beings I've ever met. Love Lindsay. If my money's going to somewhere, I give it to Lindsay.
Awesome. So we're getting toward the end of things now, Smiley. So do you have any upcoming shows or anything you'd like to hype?
Oh yeah. Tomorrow night, it's gonna be a huge one. We're at Heathcliff Stadium in Lancaster, Pennsylvania for the Red Rose Rumble 2, which is Three Legacies Pro Wrestling's like major event every year. Last year it was me and Delirious in our rematch from our first match. We did a submission match. This time I won, even though he passed out. I didn't technically beat him, so we still got some unfinished business. But this year it's going to be a lot of fun. It's me versus Al Snook versus Just Jay, who are two of Ricardo Rodriguez's students. Incredible talents, and highly recommend anybody listening to go check them out. And the fourth guy in that match is none other than TJP, which is going to be awesome. He recently put up a video, quite cryptic, talk about not coming out until it's dark, and like lately he's been a little bit more of a darker side in the New Japan era, so very interested to see what he brings out. He can bring out a little bit of a demon in him. It's okay. I got some demons in my closet too. I got some masks that might match his character there. But that's definitely going to be a huge one. Very excited for it. The Red Rose Rumble every year it's just so much fun. It's a giant baseball stadium. Last year we had 2,500 people, and the company was 8 months in. Like, like what company do you know that's been 8 months in and they got pulled 2,500 people in a baseball stadium? It's unheard of. And this year it's looking like it might even be bigger than that. I never checked the numbers, but I know one of the other guys that's on the show tomorrow said something about checking the numbers online. He said it might be close to 4,000 to 5,000. So it's going to be a ridiculously huge show. Ricardo's bringing in a lot of friends of his, a lot of bigger names. La Resistance is going to be teaming in the U.S. for like the first time in 10 years. And then you're going to have people like Shark Boy and Blue Meanie showing up. Mr. Kennedy's going to be there wrestling. It's just going to be a wild night. So I'm very excited about that one. Excuse me. Pro Wrestling Magic we're on vacation right now, but come September, we'll be starting back up over there. Pro Wrestling Magic's a bit of a home away from home for me. They really let me like, spread my wings a little bit. Really let me kind of open up and be myself and like try different things. Like I said, I was a bit of a bad guy over there for a while. Nowadays I don't know so much because we did a match a few months ago, a War Games match where I lost everything. So now I got to rebuild myself in the company. CEP, which is a company out in Long Island, they are paired up with Lucharitos. They've been giving me some great work lately, some really fun matches. Alvin Alvarez, I'm looking at you. You cheated me twice, you son of a gun. 2 matches in a row now. I should have had the win. He dumped me out the ring, stole my pin. The damn belt should be mine.
And it will be.
I will be, damn it. I need it. I need more titles. At one point I had like 4 of them. Now I think I have 1. I'm sad. Still the current Funhouse American Lucha Libre champion. So from off the top of my head, I have my schedule somewhere, but off the top of my head, those are the guys I can think of that I want to give a little bit of love to there. Oh, and I will be returning to Canada in September, I think it is, for Chaos for Canines, which is like a charity event that they do every year, raising money for like the animal shelters and stuff like that. Wrestling my arch rival once again in Aiden Rain. Love Aiden, but last time I beat him with a bouquet of flowers. It was great.
Nice. So one final thing, just for fun, tomorrow night is also SummerSlam. So I want to get your predictions. I'll run through the match card with you real quick, and we'll just get Smiley's predictions on the matches here. So in no particular order, Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk with Seth Rollins as special referee. Who you got?
Is it safe to say I feel like it's going to be a no contest kind of situation? I feel like something's getting flubbed there. Nobody's winning it. Somehow somebody gonna mess something up.
You know, I've got a wild hair about that match. And, you know, we're in this atmosphere where anything is possible. I'm actually thinking Jack Perry is going to come out and screw CM Punk.
Oh,
That would be amazing. I mean,
that would be a trip and a half.
Yeah, it would. I mean, but we're in a kind of uncharted territory where weird shit like that could happen. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
so anyway, so Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa for the Universal title. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious that, and in my mind, I think it's obvious that Cody retains. But what do you think?
Yeah. Solo's on a tear, but Cody's on another level right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So this next one, I've been going back and forth about this one all week, and that's Damian Priest versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship.
That's a tough one.
It is.
Real tough one.
Because I could see advantages booking wise to put the belt on either guy. So
I mean, it's a win-win no matter who you put that strap on there.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna go on a limb with this one.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Gunther. I could see it going to Gunther.
Yeah.
Maybe a little pass the belt a little bit between those two guys for a bit. I can see that.
Yeah. So next we have Nia Jax versus Bayley for the WWE Women's Championship. Who you got?
I gotta go Bayley on that one.
Yeah. And then the question is Tiffany Stratton gonna cash in, or is she gonna wait and hold that little briefcase for a while longer?
I think she'll hang on to it for a little bit.
Yeah, I kind of do too, because they've got this new pink briefcase, and they want to get some marketing value out of that. So yeah. So this is another one I've been back and forth on: Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship.
I think Liv finds a way to retain and keeps Rhea in that chase. Rhea had a dominant run. It's time for her to chase a little bit.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. I think Liv retains, and I think they are going to string this storyline out and finally blow it off at Mania next year. So, and then Logan Paul and LA Knight for the U.S. title.
Maybe Logan's had it for a while now. I can see them giving it to LA Knight. I think it's LA Knight's due for a little bit of gold around his waist.
I agree. I mean, he has had a great run both in the WWE system as well as his work as Eli Drake in TNA and NWA. I mean, so just on the basis of his resume, I agree with you. I think it's time for some WWE gold for him.
Oh, yeah.
So. And finally, speaking of El Generico, we've got Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental.
I think Sammy's got to retain. Like, I think so. Like, I mean, I could see him giving it to Braun, but at the end of the day, like, is he ready? Is he ready to carry it? And
that's a good question.
And it's not like Sammy just beat any regular guy. Like, he beat the longest reigning Intercontinental champion of all time, and possibly the guy who could be walking out later that night as world champion.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to kill Sammy. Like you had to kill Generico back in the day. You're gonna have to kill Sammy to get that belt off of him. Yep. And Braun's a dangerous man, but Sammy got too much heart.
Yeah. Yep. Well, Smiley, this has been an absolute blast. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And for those of you that have been watching this live, thank you. For those of you that'll be watching this on replays, thank you for that. If you like what we've got going here, please spread the word. And, you know, this thing is really starting to take on a life of its own. And I'm just having a blast. You know, I've met some of the coolest people doing this, and I love this stuff, and I love just nerding out about it with like-minded people, you know? So, and it's just, this has just totally been a labor of love. It's something totally different than what I do for my day job. and it's just, you know, this week, my wife and son have actually been in North Carolina for a family reunion. They're coming back tomorrow, but I booked a bunch of these this week just to give myself something to do in the evenings. You know, so I'm not just sitting around with the dogs. At least I've got something to kind of throw my energy and my passion into. So anyway, thank you, and I will be in touch over the next couple of days as I get things edited and reposted, and I'll send you links and such. And you know, don't be a stranger. You know, consider yourself as having a standing invitation to come back. You're part of the Throwdown family now, Smiley. So, you know.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
And I will be back live at 8:45 with a well-traveled, highly regarded tag team called Ghetto Gear Solid. So
that's a hell of a name.
yeah. I actually saw them wrestle at an indie show about 2 hours from here a couple weeks ago, and they really put on a good show, and I really had a good time watching them. So I'm excited that I was able to get them on the show.
Oh, absolutely.
So